I didn't have high hopes going into Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, and as a matter of fact, I don't think many people did. This is the second Animal Crossing spin-off game we've received this year, with Happy Home Designer releasing just a couple months ago. And if you saw my review on that, you may remember that I wasn't all too impressed by it. So, spawning out of the want to make Animal Crossing Amiibo, how does Amiibo Festival stack up? Is this an Animal Crossing game worth owning, or is it better off forgetting? Isn't that the question of the day? Well, Nintendo was kind enough to send me a review copy of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival so that I could take the game for a spin and deliver my thoughts on it to you fine folks. So right off the bat, the only way you are going to be able to play this game is if you've got yourself some handy dandy Animal Crossing Amiibo figurines and Amiibo cards. Thankfully, the game actually comes bundled with 2 super adorable figurines that are supremely well built and 3 Amiibo cards. That way, you'll be able to experience almost everything right from the get-go. Emphasis there on almost, as you're going to have to fork over a little bit more cash to see everything, as some content requires the use of 6 cards. Now, one of the best aspects of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival is hands down the presentation. Without counting the freeware Animal Crossing Plaza application that was once available on Wii U, it's really great to finally see an Animal Crossing game in HD, as I'm more used to the handheld entries. And now seeing it on the big screen taking advantage of the Wii U hardware is awesome. It's got the same old Animal Crossing charm you've come to know and love, ranging from its cute cast of anthropomorphic animals to its calming and serene environments. There is seriously almost nothing I can fault the game on when it comes to its visuals. It's a very pretty game that is vibrant, crispy, and runs at a silky smooth 60 frames per second at all times. The sound production is in the same boat, with the music and sound effects capturing that distinct Animal Crossing flair that is immediately recognizable. It matches perfectly with the tone of the visuals, with the pleasant whistling flutes and simple melodies that set the player at ease. You just can't get overly frustrated at a game like Animal Crossing, and the visuals and soundtrack play a big part in making that a reality. Where the quality of Amiibo Festival starts to dip though is with the content that it's packing underneath the adorable visuals, because it's an underwhelming experience that you come out wishing had more depth. Now, as strange as it may seem, Amiibo Festival does indeed have some rather fun game modes, but they lack the depth that they need to keep you coming back to play them. The game is basically split up into 2 different sections: the main board game mode that utilizes the Animal Crossing Amiibo figurines, and then the 8 unlockable minigames that take advantage of the Amiibo cards. Let's start with the board game mode, and believe it or not, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. I'm definitely not saying it's the best thing ever, because it is rather lousy and doesn't involve much user input to play it, but I did have a measure of fun. You and 3 other players, or CPUs, will take turns rolling a die and watch as the villagers make their way around the board. The goal is very simple: collect as many happy points as you can, and whoever has the most at the end wins. Now, to get said happy points, you're going to have to hope the number the die lands on moves you to a spot that gives you happy points rather than takes them away. Yes, you have very little control on what spots you land on, other than the fact you can choose which way to go when you hit a branching path, or use an in-game trump card that gives you a helpful ability, such as being able to automatically move 5 steps. But mostly, a lot of your success in the board game is going to be relegated to chance. What I found to be the best part of the board game is the stock market, because it actually requires some strategy. It's a risk versus reward type of system. Do you go all in and spend your money on turnips and hope you land on a spot where you can sell them for a ton of money, or do you play it a bit more conservatively? Yes, along with happy points, you'll also earn money by landing on the good spots, and at the end, that money gets converted into happy points, so it's important to get as much cash as you can. This is why the stock market is so important, as it plays a major part in whether you win or lose. Nevertheless, the board game mode feels very bare bones, and most of the time you'll simply be tapping the amiibo on the gamepad and pushing A the whole time. Honestly, even if you're playing with friends, I don't think it's going to make the experience that much better, because of how passive it really is. There's not much you can do in the way of sabotaging your opponents to keep the excitement and tension in the air. And to make matters worse, there is only one board layout in the entire game. Sure, you can change the month, which affects the aesthetics and events you'll encounter, but not the actual board itself. It's the same one every time. Undoubtedly though, I did have a great time seeing what all the calendar events had in store, since those few occurrences added something a bit fresh to the monotony. As for the 8 different minigames you can unlock, they are a mixed bag. I think the biggest problem I had with them is that almost all of them are one note, not offering much in the way of pulling you back in to play more. Without even joking, some of these minigames are actually fun, like the Acorn Chase and Balloon Island, but once you play the 3 levels in each one, which takes about 2 minutes, you've seen everything they offer. The only one that offers a substantial amount of content is Desert Island Escape, which boasts a whopping 30 stages altogether. Even that one gets a bit repetitive after a while, since it doesn't seem to introduce too many new variables and challenges along the way. It's just rinsed and repeated on a differently shaped map. I was totally not expecting this, but one of my favorite minigames in Amiibo Festival was actually the quiz show, which yes, is as simple as it sounds. It throws challenging Animal Crossing trivia at you, there's a variety of questions, and it's very easy to pick up and play. It's wonderful each time you play it, because you have no idea what questions are going to pop up next, and that mystery is what keeps it engaging. A couple of the faster paced minigames though do feel a bit clunky, such as the Whack-A-Mole game, because it will have you fumbling between your 3 cards and trying to tap them on the gamepad as quickly as possible. The reason this can be a hassle is because you have to be very precise when tapping on the NFC reader and writer. There's only a tiny chip in the card, and you have to make sure you hit it just right, so sometimes I would find it not registering when I tap the card. The Amiibo card usage is definitely much better suited for the minigames that are slow paced and allow you to take your time. Now, what does Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival offer in the way of replay value? Well, by playing the board game and the minigames, you fill up a meter that awards you with happy tickets. These happy tickets can then be redeemed to unlock the aforementioned minigames, or add a plethora of different objects onto the board in board game mode to make it look a bit more spiffy. And by leveling up your Amiibo figurines by continually using them in the board game mode, you will award them with different costumes to wear, which is honestly kind of neat. That's pretty much the extent of it besides the 30 levels to play in Desert Island Escape. So overall, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival undoubtedly has a serious amount of charm, ranging from its clean and bright visuals, pleasant soundtrack, and cute antics of its cast of villagers. Plus, the Animal Crossing Amiibo figurines are pretty irresistible. Hey baby. But all that doesn't excuse the rather lackluster lineup of gameplay modes waiting to be experienced under the coat of pretty aesthetics. The board game, while enjoyable to a certain extent, offers very little in the way of challenge and leaves to chance a lot of what happens. Plus, it doesn't help that it feels like you're tapping the Amiibo on the gamepad and pressing A nearly the whole time. I even ate chicken wings in one hand and played Amiibo Festival with the other. Now, the minigames on the other hand were sometimes fun to play, but it leaves you wanting more. With a couple exceptions, namely the quiz show and Desert Island Escape, they are nearly all shallow minigames that after playing once, you've pretty much seen all they have to offer. As with almost anything, there's probably going to be some people out there that will have some fun with Amiibo Festival, but in my opinion, I think you'd be better off spending your money elsewhere. So, unfortunately, I think you should skip Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. And that will bring us to the end of this review, and if you liked what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up, add it to your favorites, and all that good stuff. But I will talk to you all later in the next video, guys. Bye!